I hope you had a lovely weekend and that you are experiencing a happy Monday morning or afternoon or evening or wherever you are in the world today. Just so glad you're here. And so why don't we just dive in and get started? Hey, Ravenheart, so glad you're here, my dear. Hmm. Hello, beloved ones. It is wonderful to be here with you today. I thank you for joining me, and I thank you again for your service last week in our global meditation. Thank you for anchoring and smoothing out the energy surge that was happening at that time. And I encourage you all again to continue that process when you feel the energy in the world starting to feel um, overwhelming or unstable, or you're just feeling big surges of energy. It doesn't have to have any kind of jagged or negative quality. It can just be big surges of energy that you are in service to Mother Earth, in helping to ground those energies, to allow yourself to be a conduit or a filter within the collective, because you are filtering that energy with the love inside of you. So today, I would like to talk about the comfort that comes from negative behaviors, negative emotions, negative energy. Now, when I say negative, I don't mean bad or wrong or something that should be gotten rid of or not practiced or experienced or participate in. Just like in science, right? There's positive and negative energy, positive, negative ions. Neither is good or bad, they simply are, right? So when you are feeling anger, that is a negative emotion to the positive emotion of happiness. Or if you are feeling deep grief, that is the negative emotion to the positive emotion of joy or elation, right? Or laughter. So you have these positive, negative energies in your emotional body that balance each other out, right? They create a fullness for you. You would not ever want to live a human life with all positive energy. That is not good for you mentally. If you could not mourn the loss of someone, if you could not become angry when someone has wronged you or you experience an injustice for yourself or someone that you love, then you are not experiencing the fullness and depth of emotion that you are gifted as a human being. So to change your perception on how you perceive, how you think about all the variations of your emotions can help you to free them up, right? That it's not good or bad to feel your emotions. You are simply feeling whatever you are feeling at the time. And those emotions create a chemical reaction in your body. So some of those chemicals help to create euphoria, and some help you to create depression or anxiety. And it's not that you want all of any one thing, because then you are out of balance. But your life was designed, was created in such a way that you could experience a variety of emotions on any given day. And when you do feel a negative emotion, that doesn't make the day a bad day. It just means that you had a period of time where you felt angry or frustrated, or you felt hurt, or you felt sad, right? And then maybe that you are able to shift because you are not hanging on to any of your emotions. You're not clamping down or clinging to them. And so you have the freedom to move through your emotions easily without burden. But I specifically want to focus on the comfort that can come with certain emotions. And it goes a little more deeply than just familiarity. Let's say you have a period in your life. Maybe you experience a great loss, whether through death or the loss of a relationship for a variety of reasons. And maybe that loss warrants a long period of grieving. That period of grieving can vary, but it may entail a long period of grieving, and that is natural, that is fine. That is organic in many cases. But what can happen is you can begin to identify with that emotion, and all the sensations and feelings that are created in your being by that emotion. The chemicals that are released on a regular basis, the state of being that starts to solidify within your life or to become familiar. And you can also then start to imagine or create a story around your grief that is some kind of altar to the one you've lost, or a monument to the one you've lost. Meaning that when your grief runs its natural course, it can feel like a betrayal to let go of those emotions, to let go of that feeling that has become familiar. And the betrayal might be towards the person you lost. It could be towards your little child within you, that somehow if you move on from the events of the past, that you are betraying their memory, your own childhood. That if you let go of the emotions, if you let go of the feelings and the chemical reactions that keep happening in your body, then somehow you are abandoning that person or yourself, your childhood. Depression and anxiety can sometimes serve as a placeholder to say, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget. Deep grief that can lead to long-term depression can be your reminder. Don't forget. Don't forget your loss. Don't forget this space that is now empty, that this person once occupied, but now physically occupied, but now no longer. Don't let go of that space, that emptiness. Don't let go of that feeling, because it is disloyal. But the harder truth, my beloved ones, is that at some point, your anger, your hurt, your betrayal, your loss, your sorrow, your grief, your deep, deep grief will run its course if you let it. And sometimes that takes years. You may need the help of a therapist, another type of energy practitioner or worker. There may be a lot of effort that you need to put into processing that anger, that grief, that loss, that betrayal, that hurt. But there is a natural course to all your emotions and feelings and sensations. And when you get stuck somewhere, It is you that is hanging on, not just because it's familiar, but because you have created a kind of comfort. And that comfort is not always for your highest good. It is not always a good thing to become too comfortable in your life. Content, yes, wonderful. Contentment is different than comfort. If you look around your world, there are two things that human beings seek when they do not know how to process and live with and allow their own emotions and feelings, and that is comfort and pleasure. Now, comfort can be a natural outcome of love, of connection, happiness, joy. That's more the comfort of contentment. That feeling that you're in the right place, doing the right thing at the right time with the right people. There's just this rightness to it. And you are content, and there is comfort in that contentment. And then there is the more common comfort that people fall into, and that is apathy. It is a comfort that can only allow very limited emotions in, very limited sensation. It is a comfort that is derived from a lot of control. And pleasure can also be an outcome of love and joy and happiness and co-creation and intimacy and all these wonderful things. But if it is sought after solely for itself, without love, without connection, without intimacy, without co-creation, then it becomes like a drug. And you see in your world this pursuit of pleasure and controlled comfort has created a lot of problems. So I'd like you to start asking yourself the question, am I comfortable in my life, or in this relationship, or my work, or my retirement, or my service, or whatever it is that you do with your time? And underneath that comfort, is there true contentment? Is there a rightness to the comfort? Or have you simply gotten comfortable, and in that comfort you have controlled the input, so to speak, what is flowing in to such a degree that you are not experiencing the full range of your emotions, your sensations in your life? And if you experience pleasure in your life, is it derived as a result from love, intimacy, play, fun, laughter, co-creation? Or is it that limiting pleasure that is only pleasure, that yes, it gives you pleasure, the sensation of pleasure, whether it's a taste, whether it's a touch, whether it's a whole body experience, but it doesn't feel connected to anything. And it sort of leaves you always wanting more. Whereas pleasure that is a result of love and connection and intimacy and creation and joy, it carries that contentment. Like, oh, that was wonderful and that's enough for now. But pleasure just by itself, comfort just by itself, will always leave you wanting more. So begin to explore whether or not you have gotten stuck in any kind of emotion or story that you tell yourself, either from your childhood or loss you have experienced at any point along the way, hurt that you have experienced. Are you hanging on to that? Because you've gotten comfortable with it, because you crave that feeling as a placeholder so that you don't ever forget, you can't move on, you can't let go. Explore whether you would truly abandon your child within if you let go of the hurt from your childhood. Ask yourself truly, would you abandon or betray the person you lost if you allowed yourself to emotionally let go, to move on from the deepest part of your grief? That can be frightening to ask those questions. Because when you get stuck, you get too comfortable. And when you get too comfortable, you tend to start seeking pleasure just for the sake of pleasure. Because once you allow those walls to come down and connections to deepen, and your own experience of self to deepen, to co-create with the divine and the people around you, you cannot continue to seek pleasure just for the sake of pleasure, comfort just for the sake of comfort, because you can recognize how empty that feels. It does not fulfill you, it does not sustain you. And if you are in the habit of this, look to your emotions. Are you stuck somewhere? Are you holding on to a story, a time in your life? And I encourage you all to make the effort to explore that time, why you're hanging on to it. And then begin the process of letting it go. Because I promise you, beloved ones, the little child within you, all the people you may have lost to death or loss of the relationship, they do not wish your misery. They do not crave your unhappiness. They do not desire for you to stay in depression long after the grief has run its course. It can feel scary to let go of something you've been clinging to for a long time. But it can also be an enormous relief. Trust your own emotions. Trust their course. Set them free and let them naturally experience all the positive and negative aspects that exist within your life, because you need both. That is the fullness of the human expression. And whatever you need, I am there for you, beloved ones. Let me hold you as you feel your life. Namaste. Mm. Mm. Lovely. Thank you. Oh gosh. Hi, Cindy, Amy. Yay, Amy. Share. Yay. Maritza. Yay. Hello, Karen. Woo. And KB, how are you? And Ricardo, so lovely to see you. Oh, God, yeah. I hear you, Ricardo. Sometimes it is really painful to hear the truth. And I would have to say that I'm with you on that. I spent a lot of my late teens, 20s, and 30s, just exactly where Mother was talking about. It's yeah, she has taught me how to let go, and in every area of my life, not just with my emotions, but every area of my life. And it has been a revelation. I can tell you that it has been a revelation. And I don't struggle with depression anymore. That is what I don't know that I ever had clinical depression. I was never diagnosed with, um, mental chemical imbalance. So I'm not speaking to that. I'm not saying that, do what I do and then cure your depression. But when I got unstuck from my emotions, when she taught me to surrender and let go of a lot of the stuff I was hanging on to in my life, for me personally, that has kept me out of depression. For Gosh, I haven't experienced that since probably my mid 30s. And I'm 57 now. So just incredibly grateful to not have to go down those black holes anymore, because they are soul crushing for sure, at least for me anyway. But we're with you, Ricardo, and we're all sending you big hugs. Marisol, so good to see you. Thank you. Thank you for all the emojis. They're lovely. Um, have a great week, everybody. It's so good to see you here and much love to you. And I'll see you back here next Monday. And Nancy, so good to see you. 2 people today and hit on both of their Oh, you're so welcome. Have a wonderful day channeling for other people, Nancy. Yay. Okay. All right, love to you all. Bye-bye.